So we're throwing you a little bit of a curveball. I know we shared last month. Oh my God, help me! It's so early. Listen, your girls were up late last night playing bingo, and I'm exhausted. Dabbing is hard work.
It's stressful.
And I didn't win anything. Your mom won so many times.
On 4 games. I won one.
You did. Everybody won except for us.
I know.
Everybody won except for us.
No, Brianna didn't win.
Brianna won something.
Oh no, Lisa slept on her bingo.
Yeah. So we're tired, but a little bit of a curveball. So the last episode that we recorded, we said we were going to talk about teacher stories. However, we're still figuring out the timing of all this, and we recognize that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we had to squeeze in a breast cancer awareness episode. It's something that's very near and dear to our hearts, and so we're going to save that teacher episode for a little later. Also, send in your stories. We got a couple. We'll give a free gift to somebody who is the first person to send us an email, because we haven't gotten any emails yet.
No.
So that being said, send in your stories, and we're going to jump right into this episode about breast cancer awareness. I will let Elma jump in, but the goal of this is really to, I hope you don't get sick of her, because we talk about her all the time.
Every episode.
But she really, when I said she was the lighthouse and the North Star, I meant it. So really the goal of this episode is to honor our grandmother, talk about other folks who have struggled with breast cancer in our lives, and our efforts over the years, and then how can we help, how can we offer resources to those who are currently fighting the fight. So I don't know if you want to share, Alma, kind of like why it's so important to us and why breast cancer awareness is so meaningful to us.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't even remember the exact year. I can tell you where I was working, when I found out, what I was doing before I found out. I can tell you that whole day like it was yesterday.
Probably 2009 or 10. I was living in Downey. No.
Let's say
12?
8 or 7.
Maybe.
I was working at the all-girls high school. I was activities director at the time. So it was like 8 or 7 if I'm not mistaken. And our grandmother was diagnosed with breast cancer in her 80s. It was a blow that took all of us. I don't think it was anything that any of us expected.
No, and me and my mom talked about this yesterday, and I was telling Chris about it a couple days ago, and he was like, that is so sad. I was telling him how we found out that she had it. So our grandma was very modest, super modest. My whole life, I didn't even know my grandma had dentures, and I feel ashamed saying that right now.
She would hate you.
I know.
You would drop down on that list.
I'm sorry, but like I never saw her take them off. I never saw her.
I did because I lived with her.
I never did. I also we very rarely saw her anything other than like put together. And when she had her pajamas on, they were like silk pajamas with house slippers. Okay, this lady was always. Anyway, all that to say, she hid it from us. Do you remember?
Yeah.
She was self-medicating, like taking care of herself. So she did have like a lesion or something that was like, this is trigger warning. It was a wound from the breast cancer that she was trying to treat on her own with like bandages and pads and gauze. And our aunt, who has now passed away, Aunt Pete, R.I.P., we miss you, was a nurse. And she called her when my mom said we were at whose wedding?
Adrian. No. Well, she went to Adrian's wedding though.
My mom said that they found like bandages and stuff at Adrian's wedding. Somebody found it in the trash and we're like, what is this? And she's like, oh, it's nothing. But she called Pete. I don't know where everyone was.
They were at the house. They were at the house and she couldn't stop the bleeding.
Couldn't stop the bleeding.
And she was asking like different kids to bring different things so they wouldn't put 2 and 2 together.
I can't even imagine.
Like we don't even know how long this was going on for. Like, let's see, Adrian and Megan, I don't remember the month they got married in. I'm sure I couldn't find it. But this happened in November. She was diagnosed in end of October, beginning of November, 2008 or 7. So she was trying to take care of herself because she didn't want to be a burden, and she also hated going to the doctors.
Yep.
There's that stigma of you go to the doctors, and every time you go to the doctors, something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
So she didn't want to go. And then one night in October, the end of October, if I'm not mistaken, because she had her mastectomy on your brother's birthday.
How do you know that?
I'm telling you, I have the brain of an elephant. My friends tell me I have like elephant brain because I which I always question, like, are you calling me an elephant? Or are you really talking about
Oh
my
my
brain?
gosh, I wouldn't even remember that.
Dude, I can tell you, okay, so let me give you the story. I was the activities director. It was our father-daughter dance. We were supposed to go, my mom, sister, and I were supposed to go to the casino afterwards.
Mhm.
And I had a car, we only had 2 cars at the time. I had one of the cars, and my mom had they had the other one at the house. When I pulled up to the apartment, one of the car was missing. And I was like, that's weird, like, they didn't leave without me, like, it's still early, like, what happened? I walked in, and this was like, Alma, like, we didn't want to text you, but, like, they had to take grandma to the hospital. They had to take grandma to the emergency room, and in my mind, I was like, heart attack, stroke, like.
Because she had had like heart problems in the past,
Yeah.
which was
Just being taken care of, she had a pacemaker, like, all that stuff. So, like, I was like, oh, okay, like, for what? She's like, we don't know, but she was, like, bleeding from her breast. And still, never crossed my mind
yeah.
that it could have been breast cancer. And then they got home at, like, very early in the morning, like 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. I remember my mom getting home and my mom telling us, she's like, Alma, Lisa, like, grandma has breast cancer. And I was like, excuse you?
Oh my gosh.
It was a Saturday night, and then they kept her in the hospital until the mastectomy because they said she wouldn't have gone back, remember?
Oh my god. I think I blocked a lot of it out. I even asked my mom, where was I living at the time? She's like, you were in your apartment and you came over. So I was like very early marriage.
Yeah.
But the thing that made me so sad is I remember her saying, like, well, they tell you if you have a lump to go in, but it wasn't like a lump, era un ladrillo,
Yeah.
which was like a gigantic mass.
Right.
And it was so scary because she was already older, and so I thought, oh my god, the chemo's gonna like kill her. She's so much older already, right?
Yeah.
But
I mean, she was super strong for her age at 80. Like.
Yeah. And I think my grandma, I told her, was lucid till like the week before she died.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. She never lost her, like, memory.
No, and she cooked until like she literally couldn't anymore. So
Oh,
she
yeah.
couldn't like.
She would be sitting in the kitchen and, like, telling us what to do and, like,
Mhm.
yelling at us if we were doing it wrong.
Yeah, for sure. So anyway, that's kind of like the backstory, but she fought valiantly, and unfortunately she did lose her battle in 2013, September 13, 2013, right? Which
Yeah.
landed on a,
Friday.
what was it? What did we just say the other day? The Spooky Friday, what's it called?
Spooky Friday?
Friday the 13th.
Oh, yeah.
But like, that's not to like deter hope from people who are fighting right now. My grandma was like a lot older, and the doctors actually said, you know, she might pass from old age before the cancer,
Yeah.
if the cancer. So I just want to put that out there. She was healthy for a long portion of that, and she fought really hard. And something else that we'll talk about is what we did as a family to support her during that battle. So like immediately,
Yeah.
when we found out, we started doing the Avon breast cancer walks. They don't happen anymore, but like it's 39 miles over 2 days. The first one is 26.2,
26.2.
and the second day is
13.1.
13.1. Oh
It's
god.
a full marathon on day
13.1.
1 and a half marathon on day 2.
And so we did that for like, I don't know, we did that for like 10 years until we stopped. Longer.
I think it was about 10 years, yeah.
So we each had to raise $1,800
Ugh.
to do the walk.
That was the worst.
How many of us were there? I'm gonna do the quick math.
We fluctuated throughout the years. On average, I would say 8. We'll definitely like maybe put together a little reel or something with a bunch of photos.
We will. We'll get the actual math.
From throughout the
But I
years.
think we raised not even 10 times 1,800 equals times
It was
10. I think we raised well over $150,000 in the years that we've done the Avon walk.
Yeah.
And that is a whole nother, we'll get into that later, the stories, the funny things, the injuries. Dude, one time I woke up in the middle of the night at the hotel, like after day 1. I crawled on my knees like a dog to the bathroom. That's me. I was like, I can't stand up. My feet won't support me. I also lost my wedding ring or my engagement ring at the hotel.
Oh, I don't remember that.
And then I was too scared to call because I was hoping it'll pop up, right? Like, no, I'm not, it's not real. And then I called, but you know what made me happy? They said typically, oh, it's already been like over X number of months. Like typically what we do at that point is we just tell the housekeeper who found it to keep it. And I was like, what? But I was like, that's all right, girl, do you?
So did you find it?
No, it's gone. I'm sure I lost it, and a housekeeper in Santa Barbara has it. That's okay. If you're gonna lose your wedding ring, that's the way to lose it. So yeah, we did the Avon walk for maybe more than 10 years. I don't know. I think almost
I
8
think
years.
I think it was about 10. Sorry, if we're a little like scatterbrained, like Steph said, we were senoras last night. I didn't go to bed till almost midnight. Steph probably about the same. And we got up early because people were like, we want more content, we want more content. And we love doing this. So we're just a little scatterbrained. The coffee
Yes.
hasn't hit yet.
It's hitting.
Um,
So yeah, we did a bunch of Avon walks. We did a lot of fundraising and a lot of volunteering. What was our main source? Do you remember what our main source of fundraising income was during the walks?
During the walk,
What did we sell to make all that money?
tamales.
Tamales. My grandma's claim to fame is her tamales, and they're delicious. I'm not a huge tamal fan. I think it's because we spent our whole lives making them.
Yeah.
But her tamales are fire. And I was working downtown. Shout out California Community Foundation. Spent like almost 15 of the best years of my life there. We would make, you guys, like 200 dozen.
Yeah, we're not exaggerating.
I mean, seriously. 200 dozen tamales, and I would send an email, hey guys, doing the breast cancer walk selling tamales. Boom, I have X number of dozen. I kid you not, 5 minutes, gone.
At some point, we would like have to, the first time we did it, I don't think we didn't think we were gonna get that many, I think, even though we know that tamales are fire. But we're like, okay, like everyone sell your tamales, we're gonna, this day, that day, whatever, sell your tamales. We did it, we each came back and my Nina Marsha was like, okay, y'all need to stop.
Dude.
Like everyone needs to stop, we're cut off, like we have reached our limit, this is gonna take us, I think the first one I think even took us 2 days.
Dude, my back. White people be loving their tamales. I'm gonna tell you, those people would.
Dude.
You know what happened once? I brought sweet tamales. Sorry, I'm getting off the course, but I was in a meeting at the California Community Foundation, and Nana had made sweet tamales. I don't know what it was, but it was some event, and the receptionist was
Licking her fingers?
cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Okay, she was crazy. She was I can't even, a story for another day. She was crazy, and I went into the meeting, and it was a potluck. So I think it was Hispanic Heritage Month or whatever. So I had made like a huge, Nana, like a huge container, a huge crock pot, like a ginormous crock pot full of sweet tamales. And so I go into the meeting, and I come out to wash my hands for something.
Go on.
Homegirl has her purse in the kitchen, and she's shoveling hot, greasy sweet tamales directly into her purse.
It's not even in a bag here.
No, and she
Straight
looks
into the
over and
purse.
she's like, "Is this cool?" And I was like, "Hey, if you want a sticky, stinky,
Everyone in the office
Good for you.
know who serves the tamales every time you bring your
listen,
purse, lady.
honestly." But all that to say, they're really good. And also there was a farmer's market in downtown LA by the office, and they were selling them for $35 a dozen, and I was like,
Right?
honestly. And my grandma would put, obviously, a dozen is 12. She would sell them when we first started making them, $12 a dozen.
Yeah.
And she was so mad when prices went up and we had to increase the price. She was like, no. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, we're like not making a profit. You gotta.
Right.
But anyway,
Dude, the tamales, so we talked about one of your old teachers, or I don't think she taught you, but who I work with now, Mrs. Ruda.
oh yeah.
We talked about her a couple episodes ago. And that was the passion play one.
Yes.
She works at my school now too, and we did tamales for Hispanic Heritage Month. My mom did actually, shout out to
It
my
looked
mom.
so pretty.
They were delicious. And so she didn't get any, and she saw my principal eating them, and she's like, "Are those Miss Stone?" And so then I saw her this past week, and she was like, "I heard I missed the tamales." I was like, "Mrs. Ruda, you know like the OG ones.
OG.
Like no offense to anybody, but like you had my grandmother's. Like." And
That's
she's
a big
like,
deal.
"Yeah." I was like, "I got you. Come Christmas time, I got you."
Honestly,
You
listen.
remember these things. I
and
haven't seen this lady in
Oh, they remember.
20 years.
You want to hear a funny story? Mortifying. So when I started my period, like in 7th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, my mom gave me this really cute ring, and it was just a little like silver twist. It was so cute, and I think it was hers like back in the day. I loved it. So we're making
Oh my
yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, too many tamales based on my life, okay? So we're making tamales with Nana and whatever, all fine and dandy. My grandma's like, who lost? She comes back like a week later and she's like, who lost this ring? And I'm like, oh my God, that's my period celebration ring. And I'm like, where did you get that? She's like, somebody from the church bought my tamales and found your ring inside her tamal.
Oh my.
You know, she used to make us like swipe, like you're not gonna waste not a single drop of
You're gonna,
masa.
like,
So
wipe
you have
off
to
your
wipe your
fingers?
fingers off and your, oh yeah.
Oh
I
my
wanted to
gosh.
die. Can you imagine?
Yeah. Well, I got one of her rings after she had passed. Like, I don't know, I wear it almost every day to work. And then when I got it, I was like, oh, this is so dirty.
I had masa on it. Did it have masa on it?
It had masa in it. I like cleaned it. I was like, what is that? And I like would
Oh,
pull
I
the
wanna
like,
gag.
sides of the ring. I got chunks of stuff
No.
out of the ring. Like,
Oh my God, that's so gross.
it was, I was like, oh, and I was kind of sad that I cleaned it. Like,
Oh yeah.
I was kind of
Oh,
sad that I cleaned it, but also I was like,
that's
oh,
disgusting.
this is so beautiful.
Oh my God.
We digress. Breast cancer awareness. I'm sorry.
We've also had a couple other family members who have passed or who have struggled, fought with breast cancer.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can share. I mean, our tia Ann passed away from breast cancer.
Yeah.
And a lot of people know that, and so we just wanted to give her a little bit of a spotlight here because she was really important to our family, and I can share, she lived on the East Coast with our uncle, our tío Jaime. And for me, it was really, so when I had my daughter, she was a La Leche League member. She was a lactation consultant and a nurse, right? And so she spent many nights with me texting and messaging and like while I was crying trying to nurse Sophia. And so that was a very special connection that we had. And I find it very interesting that with all her years of nursing all of her kids and that it's just made me very sad that that's what she ended up suffering with. But for me, it was a very like deep connection with her and the connection. This is like a trigger warning if you're a freaking toddler or a teenager or embarrassed talking about boobs. But like, I find like it's a very, a woman's connection to her breasts is very, like I always said, if I had breast cancer, take them off. I don't want them. If I found out I had the BRCA gene or something, I don't want them. But for me, they've been like a burden my whole life, you know, like having big boobs is the worst.
It's huge. Having
I
big boobs
hate
is
it.
the worst.
And so I just, and then like nursing, it's just very complicated. And I don't think people understand that when they think breast cancer, it's like, oh yeah, but it's like, some women like it's connected to their femininity.
Right.
Like without them, they feel like, I've seen women get mastectomies and they're like devastated.
Yeah.
And you know, for her, it was a big, I remember she wrote us that long email telling us that she had it,
Yeah.
And the longer that you breastfeed, the less likely you are to get breast cancer.
Really?
Yes. And so she had done like the math, saying like, I nursed all my kids for this long, which is this number of hours and this number of days, and she still got it. That was like her, it was, let me see.
Yeah, it was, I think that was a blow. I mean, obviously it's a blow when anyone in your family gets breast cancer, gets any type of sickness, not just cancer, because you don't know how to deal with it. But like when someone who was like, so like our grandmother was in her 80s, and
She was young.
in her 60s, if I'm not mistaken. Anne was in her 60s. We should really fact check ourselves a little bit more, but I think people like the us guessing.
Us not knowing what the heck we're talking
You're
about.
good. We're at 20 minutes.
Okay.
Girl. You're good.
So listen, breastfeeding can reduce the risk of breast cancer for a number of reasons. Hormonal changes, because breastfeeding can delay menstrual periods, which reduces exposure to estrogen. That's fucking bullshit. You gave us a period, Diosito, I love you. You gave us a period, and those hormones from that period can give us breast cancer?
That's ridiculous.
Anyway, cellular changes, elimination of damaged cells. Breastfeeding can eliminate cells with DNA damage. Is my baby drinking that? That's gross.
Right.
Human milk components, glycoproteins. The longer and more frequently a woman breastfeeds, the greater the reduction in breast cancer risk. Wow.
Wow.
I know. So it was really hurt. I was really hit by Tia Anne's passing.
Yeah.
It really
I
jacked me up.
I go back east often, so I formed I think a different relationship, obviously not having kids, but not living out there. I didn't live out there. Going out there regularly I think that built my relationship with her in a different way. I'll never forget. I will never forget. We went, your mom, Marcia, and I went to go surprise them for Emily's baby shower.
Mm-hmm.
And the aunt got so mad at me because I
You didn't tell her?
didn't tell her. We didn't tell anybody. Like, it was
Right.
just a surprise. And she was so mad at me that we didn't tell her. She ended up like yelling at me.
Oh, she yelled at you?
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
She yelled at me. It was a good time. And I was like, she yelled at me. Your mom and Marcia were like, it's because you have a different type of relationship
Yeah.
with her. Like, because you come out here regularly, like,
Yeah.
and she had never like yelled at me. But I do remember too, one time that I went out there, I was so sick. I don't even think I was hungover. I think I literally like got the flu or something. And I was out there, and she had planned a day for her and I to go to Mount Vernon,
Where's that?
George Washington's
Oh, okay.
area. And she still took me. She's like, all right, like get up, let's go. And I was like so sick. I really don't think I was hungover. I don't remember. Emily and Anita will probably fact check me on that one. Might have been hungover. But I was just like, hey, let's go, we're going. And we still went, like we still
Oh,
walked
no.
around, like. So it was just a different type of relationship, different connection with her.
We did that before she got breast cancer. She did the breast. Oh my God. Okay,
The very
let's
first
jump
walk?
into the Avon breast cancer walks.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's
so
go
like,
with
Tia
that.
Ann, we miss you. We love you, and we'll never forget you, of course. Sheesh. We think about you often. But breast cancer walks. So the
Wait,
first what?
Can I throw this out there? Before that, not only did our grandmother, but then we also had our aunt, by marriage, but our aunt nonetheless, and we also had a cousin last year.
Yes, I didn't know if we could talk about that.
She posted it on her social media, so I
Okay.
think we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, so we had a cousin, one of our cousins,
Well, Aunt Mary, we always called her Aunt Mary, right?
Oh,
Even
yeah.
though she wasn't our aunt, but like very sweet, very
Yeah.
kind woman. Our Tia Susan's sister
yeah,
had breast cancer.
which
Right?
you'll see some of those photos.
Yeah, we'll
Obviously,
show a
our cousin
picture.
won't be in it because she wasn't diagnosed.
Yes, yes.
when
But we
we
might
did
have a
the walk.
picture of her in the first walk, but yeah.
Yeah,
And then
but
I
yeah,
don't know
sorry,
if we
just
share.
wanted to put that out there.
Of
too.
course, I just wasn't sure if we could talk about it.
No, yeah, I mean, she posted it on her social media, so I figured since she posted it, we're good to go.
Yeah, and there's a different kind of sadness like when you're young. Not that like even if you're old or older,
Yeah,
but when you're young, it's a different kind of like, oh, fuck.
That hit
come
hard, too.
on. Yeah,
that hit hard too.
for sure, especially when you have somebody close to you who goes through it.
Yeah.
So
All
we're
right,
thinking
breast
of you
cancer walks.
always. We're thinking of you always and praying for you. You know who you are, in case you don't want us to say your name. Emily, we love you.
I didn't know she listened. I'm gonna make her
I
listen.
don't know. Okay, so the Avon breast cancer walk. So like we said, we started doing Avon walks almost immediately when we found out, literally the year my grandma, you know what's crazy? We did it the year we found out, and then we walked a walk the week before my grandma passed away. Remember?
Oh,
That one was devastating. That one was
oh, I
so
got a story
sad.
about that one.
Okay,
That one was so
so the
sad.
first walk we did, hilarious. Tio Jaime came, Tia Ann, and Emily came from the East Coast. It was in the first 2 years it was in Long Beach. And
Dude, that was the year we made shirts. Like we went all out.
oh, we
with
had
the
like
shirts.
capes and stuff. That's when my mom almost overdosed us with ibuprofen. Do you remember?
Oh,
We were hurting and my mom's like, take this,
That
take
was
this,
Santa
take
Barbara
this.
though. That was Santa Barbara though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's when I was crying for your mom and I had to take a shit so bad because my stomach was burning from all the ibuprofen. And I was like sweating, pooping in a porta potty, you know. And then I saw your mom and I was like, Angie, save me.
We had walker stalkers who would support us
Mhm.
along the route.
Oh my God, give us
My
like
mom
snacks,
and Nina
water.
Sassad were like the go-to,
Haim-
the captains
Maida
of the walker
and-
stalkers.
Yes.
And then
Oh no, Maida walked and Javier.
Javier was one of them.
Yeah.
Tia Susan was another. Nina Susan was another one of them. Like
Yeah.
this was a family affair. wouldn't
Big
you
time.
say?
It was like a whole thing. We would get a hotel, well, the first couple years, go to Long Beach, yeah.
Yeah.
We got a hotel, and it's really fun. Like, you walk around, it's so fun. You walk all throughout the city, and then there's like different stops with like snacks and water and like bikers dressed in pink, children from the local schools. And the neighborhood, even like the neighborhood, remember people would bring out like, here, take a shot of this, or here's
Yeah.
beer, or like water.
Ooh, the lemons with sugar. Do you remember that?
Uh-huh.
Like that just at that mile, it was on day 2 if I'm not mistaken in Santa Barbara. That community did like a whole balloon arch and there was something about the lemon and sugar. You just needed it at that, they were cold.
Oh, yeah.
Suck on a lemon, like.
I know.
Ooh, my mouth is like.
I know, me too, I'm getting babas. But
But wait, well, the one, going back to the shirts real fast, because we would go all out with the shirts. I'm sure someone has all the photos.
the
of
first
them.
year we did like Obama style
No.
picture of
no,
Nana.
No, that was not the first year.
Snow White.
It was Snow White.
I had to make the Anna bird because she was sad she wasn't in it. I photoshopped a picture of Snow White. Like it was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and Nana was Snow White. But like my Photoshop skills were like, not Photoshop, it was like Microsoft Paint. So like their heads were all turned.
Their heads were facing the wrong way. They were like the Exorcist.
Well then and then Thea Ann's like, I'm coming too, I'm not in this picture. And I was like, fuck it. So I had to like slap her face onto like a bird.
A baby bluebird in the top right corner, if I'm not mistaken.
It was.
That's the shirt I want. I want to find a picture of that
I'll
shirt.
find a picture of it.
T-shirt.
Um,
jotting down notes.
but
my
that-
grandma was so pissed about those, like
The shirts.
the
with the
shirts.
picture
I
on
think
it?
because we like blasted her photo on them.
Whatever.
I mean, yeah, that's why we were.
We were walking the 39 miles. Not you. Sorry, just kidding.
That
I
shit
love
was
you.
rough.
I'll blast any picture I want on it. I also, but yeah, it was a good time. It was fun. It was nice. It was painful, but it was actually really happy too. And our Aunt Pete, who passed away, would like volunteer at the nurses' tent.
Yeah.
It was great. It was a good time.
Yeah.
Lots of good stuff happened there. Remember that time your brother had that like shaking fit? Like I think he went into shock after.
Oh, after
It was
day
in
one?
Long Beach,
That's
yes.
when he decided to raw dog it.
He did. He's like, I can do it. I don't need
He's
to.
like,
And we would
I
go.
don't need to train. I can do this.
Oh, we would go on training walks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
We would
fun.
walk from like Azusa to Rancho Cucamonga.
Remember, we'd walked all the way to Rancho Cucamonga, yeah.
And then we would walk like from Temple City to Nana's house
Yeah.
in Lincoln Heights, like.
And end with the giant Mexican breakfast. Remember
yes.
at his house?
We would stop and eat, and then we'd be like, oh damn, we gotta walk back.
Oh yeah.
Or sometimes our walker stalkers would pick us up, like they would need to train too, so they would stalk us along the route too, to help us out. I remember they used to play songs for me that I hated, so that I would not get in the car.
Stop.
They would like play Blurred Lines.
Oh, Nino's song. Oh my god, I hated that song.
Because he played that song.
Hey,
Oh God.
hey, hey.
Driving back from Nogales, he played that song for 4 hours straight.
Stop it.
I literally, at this point, I pretended that I was asleep because I was like, I'm sick and tired of it. I was like, maybe he thinks I'm asleep, he'll change the song. No, he didn't. I absolutely despise that song. And now everyone in the family knows that now. So anytime that song comes on, guess what? They're like, Elma. And I'm like,
Do you know the second year I got ready with like lipstick? Is that where? Yeah, my red lipstick and I'm gonna find it. And my flower in my hair, and I was ready to walk. That's the one where my mom almost overdosed us. So my mom gave us all ibuprofen. I think it was like 800
it was like
milligrams,
800.
multiple times a day.
Every,
Multiple
like, 4
times in that
hours.
day.
She's like, here, you need a
My
couple of-"
stomach was burning. I had to go to the porta potty.
Yeah.
And when I came out, I saw your mom, and I was like sobbing. Right?
Well, remember like Lisa's ankle?
Oh
was
my
so
God,
swollen?
so Lisa went to the doctor's
Well,
like
we
the
got
following
that.
week because her ankles were swollen. And her doctor's like, oh my God, like, did you take a lot of ibuprofen or a lot of something? She's like, yeah. She's like, oh my God, somebody overdosed you. Do you remember when Nino rubbed that belladonna on our feet? And it numbed it, and then I Googled it after. I was like, this is poison, bitch. This is,
I don't
this is
remember
like
that.
this little jar from Mexico.
Oh,
I
yes.
think it was like a Mexican cream. But I was like, I could walk forever on this because my feet were numb, like friggin' stumps.
Friggin-
But it was like belladonna, like ointment.
Yes.
I have a
remember when
picture.
they
I'm
did
gonna
that
post it of
face.
him like massaging it into my feet.
Really?
yeah. Oh
All I-
yeah.
all
It's
I-
like hold on. It's
All I remember are the ice baths that they used to have for us, and we used to have to like stand in there afterwards.
Uh-uh.
So, but here, while Steph's looking that up, I'll tell you a quick story. Very first walk. Because you have the option, at this walk, you had the option to tent, right? We never tented because you had to like make your own tent. You had to share these bathrooms.
You said you were gonna tent the first time.
The very first year, Emily and I were like, we're gonna tent, we can do this, we're young, we got this. Man, after that 26.2 miles, we went and picked up our luggage and we looked at everyone and was like, can we sleep on the floor? We'll sleep on the floor in the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
We were a mess. Every year after that, I would always, at check-in, I would always send Emily a picture of like the tents and be like, remember that one year we thought we were gonna tent? We couldn't do it.
Mm-mm.
We could not do it.
I'm trying to see. I feel like this shit's like poison or something.
I think the best thing about this is that it brought us back to something that Grandma always taught us from day one was like giving back to those who need it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
Also, something we did. Hold on, let me interject. Atroba belladonna. We use this. I would have in it. Toxins include scopolamine. That's what that guy from Canada used to kill his wife's sister. The Ken and Barbie. The Ken and Barbie killers.
Oh, now
Oh my
she's doing
God.
search 'cause she wants it in. You know that one episode where we couldn't figure out my little hook?
Thank you for everybody who's more
Thank you,
Mexican
too.
than we are. Help me, I'm a no sabo. Carla Homolka. This has scopolamine in it. Anyway, Nino rubbed this on our feet. It's poisonous. Rapid heartbeat, dilated pupils, delirium, vomiting, hallucinations, and death due to respiratory failure. But in that moment, but imagine it's on the bottom of your feet. You're sweating. You're absorbing it.
Yeah.
We're lucky we lived. Wow, Nino.
Wow. Glad we're here to
Wow.
tell it on the Vida Entre Vidas, the life between cousins.
We survived death too, Lisa. Anyway, it was fun. It was
If
a
you
good
did not
time.
listen to episode 4, go back and listen to episode 4.
Yes. But something that we used to do that was really fun, I really liked is if you're familiar with the Boyle Heights neighborhood, we also tried to do things that were like team building, character building,
Yes.
and I lost my little activities. So not only would we do training walks, but we would go to Dolores Mission where they have they house migrant men. So they're men who have come over from Honduras, Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador, and they come to Los Angeles and they have nowhere to live, right? It's the Dolores Mission, it's a shelter.
Yeah.
And so it's a men's shelter. And so you can go and make a meal.
A dinner for them
Yeah, so we would go and cook for them.
and then serve them.
And serve them. And you pray with them and you sit with them and you eat with them and you serve them a meal. And it was like, that was one of my,
We should see if
most
we
favorite
still do
things.
that. I mean,
Yeah.
given the pandemic in 2020, but we should see if they're still doing that.
Yeah.
and
that was amazing.
Get our family together to do it, maybe.
Wouldn't that be nice? Maybe that's what we need. Although bingo did bring us together yesterday.
Bingo did.
Feuds bonded by bingo.
Dude, I set that dish up.
You did? The bingo?
Yeah.
You did?
I'm the one who sent the text out to everybody.
Oh, that's right.
Just my mom, Lisa, and I were gonna go.
Dude, the animal fries were
Dude,
fire.
I ordered them, but they weren't as good as the ones your mom had. These had too much stuff.
Oh, they were so good.
Maybe we should see. I have some people who go to school there. I can ask them.
It was so good. Bomb.
So yeah, I think that the breast cancer walks helped bring us together.
Mhm.
And like Steph had said, we did one of them the week that our Nana got really sick.
Yeah.
Her last week and a half, or 2 weeks of her life.
Did me and Lisa ever tell you the story how we had to bathe her? My grandma talking about modest. Okay.
Wait, what story?
When we had to give Nana a shower.
No.
Okay, me and Lisa, large and in charge. You know, I love you, girl. We're larger women. We're like, you can listen.
Sit back.
Fit fat. Okay, can I tell you something? I have to digress. The first episode we ever did, we talked about how I sat in my car and ate Taco Bell and cried after asking the doctor for Ozempic.
Right.
So she's like, go get this blood panel done. My Nino, Cesar, who's everybody's Nino, he's really just mine and Lisa's. Everybody calls him Nino. Always talks about how our family is fit fat, okay? We might be fat, but we're fit. And you know, a doctor told me like a few years ago, I'm like, it's because I'm fit fat. She's like, that's not a real thing. You need to stop saying that. I was like, bitch, so look
Go
at my
back to her and be
motherfucking
like,
blood work.
Bitch, I'm fit fat. Here are the
Okay,
results.
so I go get my blood work and I'm like looking at it and I'm like, oh my God, I'm never gonna get Ozempic. I'm never gonna get Wegovy. I'm never gonna get, everything's in the green. My blood
yay.
pressure, yeah,
Sorry, I was like, oh.
beautiful. Oh my gosh, your freaking A1C, you're everything in the green. I'm like, oh, great. But like, anyway, so we're fit that. But so anyway, me and Lisa were watching Nana. I think this is the weekend. Oh, it's another story when she threw her back up because we thought we heard a. Oh my God. Okay, hold on. Stop, Stephanie. ADD.
Focus.
Oh. We had to shower her, and she was very modest. I was like, I'll take my glasses off so I can't see you. So I won't even be able to see you. Do you know this woman was like, don't look, don't look. I'm like, we're trying to shower you. Don't look, don't look, don't look. And then between the two of us, she almost fell. Well, she almost slipped in the shower, and it was like, girl, my pits were sweating. I was like, I can't. It was awful. You have to ask Lisa the story, but she was so mad at us. I'm like, oh my God. I know, it was awful. But
That right there tells me that you guys were not.
all
her
three of
favorites.
us, damp, fall onto the bed together.
Imagine.
Me.
You guys are not the favorites because she let you do that.
I guess so. She was, oh, I love my grandma.
I win.
Imagine telling someone, don't look at me, and I'm like, I'm literally trying to wash your hair. What do you mean?
You did not wash your hair. She never had her hair washed, only on Thursdays.
I didn't want to say wash her. Anything else.
Okay.
That's all was just,
Okay.
you know.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, that was a sad one because we knew while we were walking that our grandma was dying.
Yeah, the very last one.
But the one before that is where my Aunt Pete, or the one before, a couple before.
Yeah.
I don't know
I
if
think
you
that
want
was
to share
like
that.
I think that was like 3 before she died.
So she was already kind of on the
She never went to a
downturn.
walk.
Never. And Santa Barbara's far when you're old, and
Yeah.
you have like, you know, it's a couple
Ailments.
hours.
Yeah.
And so she would always like give us the bendición, write us a nice little note. We would go to the front, and she would throw like the holy water and give us our blessing.
Uh-huh.
And we
To
have a
keep us safe.
video of the year that she was passing, and she was already bedridden in bed.
Yeah.
And Pete giving us the
Yeah.
bendición. I think I posted that recently. But my Aunt Pete brought her up, and it was like we rounded this corner. Is that the
It was
story you were
day
gonna tell?
2. No.
We rounded this corner, and it's day 2. Your feet are hurting, they're bleeding, you're exhausted. There's a coffee bean. I have to look up where that coffee
On
bean
the
is.
corner of.
I don't know what,
Yeah.
but we rounded this corner. Everyone's like defeated and tired and just waiting for it to be over. And my grandma is like sitting there with her, like, I'm gonna cry.
Oh my God, me too. My eyes are watering so bad right now.
She's like standing there with her, like, and she's a tall woman. Like, she's standing there with her devoso. Like, we already knew she was sick. It was just like
Yeah.
the waterworks. I don't think
Oh my God.
anybody.
There was not a dry. Even like people who like they were sitting there waiting. They had the whole patio at Coffee Bean, right? And people were just kind of sitting there too. And they're like, "Is this them? Like, is this who you're waiting
Oh,
for?"
yes,
Like,
yes.
It
Because
was,
people knew that she was waiting for us. And then the
Yeah.
day, the year that she passed, or the year that she was sick and passing, Pete came back with a giant picture of her.
That was after she
What was
passed.
it?
I
Was
don't think
it?
they brought it the year she. No,
Was it-
because Pete didn't go that year. The year that Grandma died, nobody went. Nobody was there. I mean, my
Oh.
mom and Nino Cessa had set up at the Coffee Bean.
Uh-huh.
But there wasn't pictures. The pictures were after they had died,
Mm,
if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right.
And like the very last walk, I fell. Do you remember me falling?
No,
The very last walk, you were around me on day 1.
I think I blacked it out.
On day 1, like at this point, like Grandma was already like at home. We knew she like was going downhill, and I don't know. I tripped on something. I don't know, but I fell into like all 4s. My knees were like bruised up. My hands. It was right before we got to the mission, and I got up and I started walking. Marsha was definitely around me. Marsha had to be definitely around me. Oh, maybe with Yesenia.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
Yesenia,
we made
who
connections throughout
also
the years. Yeah.
is now a breast cancer survivor.
Yeah.
She caught it early. Go get your mastectomies.
No, you're mammogram.
Go get your mammogram.
The coffee has not hit. for
Go
sure.
get your mammogram. Yesenia, we love you. She's our Walker Stalker sister that my mom actually met.
Walker
You
sister,
guys
not
met her.
Walker Stalker.
Walker sister, who they met on a training walk.
A
But anyway, go
training,
ahead.
Yeah. And so I had fallen, and I like got up, and they were ready to like pick me up and put me in a car because they're like, you fell, like you're done, like you seem hurt. And I was like, nope, give me ibuprofen, because in the back of my head I was like, my grandma's dying.
Honestly, nothing can be harder than what she's
Like,
going through. I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
Now
and
I remember
was
that
like,
you say
no.
that.
And then I saw my mom at the mission. She's like, "Are you good?" I was like, "I'm fine. I still got 15 miles today." Like it was like, I was like, "I got this." I think that was the very last. Obviously, I think it was the last walk. No, it wasn't the last walk that we did. But it was one that I think I completed all 39 miles that weekend because in the back of my head I just kept being like,
It can't be harder than what she's going through.
yeah, yeah. That shit was hard.
It was hard. It was hard.
I don't wish it upon anybody. Not walking.
Never.
Cancer in
Ever.
any way, shape, or form.
I know, and I was telling someone recently when I was younger, I remember being in the car with my mom, I remember where we were and hearing somebody had cancer, I'm like, that's scary.
Yeah,
I don't know anybody, thank God, who has cancer, and now it's everywhere.
it's everywhere.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we'll always do our part to support, we'll always do our part to fundraise. And actually, Elma's doing a walk, and I think my mom and my dad are doing it, and a couple other people. Can you tell them what you're doing?
I don't know my mom.
October 19th?
October 19th at the Citadel. So this episode is coming out, I think this episode's going to come out like the week before. I gotta double check our calendar. Based off of our notes
Oh, yeah.
and when this one comes out. So you might not, this episode is coming out the 18th. But I will put on.
So you're walking it tomorrow.
I'm walking it tomorrow.
Yay.
Yeah. Sorry, we're still getting used to like filming ahead of time.
Yes,
And figuring out the dates and things of that sort.
You want to hear something funny? Oh, I didn't tell. Wait. Okay. The first breast cancer walk we ever did, I was living with my husband in Downey in our little apartment, right? You want to hear something funny? This is so gross. I will never forget this because I was so embarrassed. I don't get embarrassed by anything anymore. But this is many miles that we would walk.
Oh yeah, and like at the start, we like trained like hardcore.
Hardcore. Dude, we were slim and trim, okay? Chris, we used to have to obviously do our laundry in the apartments. What is it, right there, washer and dryer.
Yeah.
And he was like collecting the clothes one day, and the next day, so we would come home and like crash out. We're so tired.
Yeah.
And he was like, dude, I picked up the dirty clothes yesterday. Your underwear smelled so fucking bad.
They're probably
He's like,
yes, like,
stinky, sweaty ass coochie.
dude.
Well, I'm like, bro, you try walking 25 miles. What?
6.2. I mean 39.2.
Oh my God, but it was like a training walk underwear. Anyway, there's the underwear keep coming up in that stinky underwear. So,
That picture.
but I felt, which one?
The picture of Who's the Daredevil. That was a train.
Oh yes, that was a training walk. You're right.
Yeah, that was a
We were-
training walk from the very first year.
Yes, you're right.
Because then Steph later.
I fell. Did I fall at work? I think I fell. Okay, when I was working at CCF, Chemical Warming Foundation, I fell in the basement. Oh no, on the loading dock, and I
was
broke
the
my
same.
foot.
Yeah.
And this is like a couple weeks before the walk, and I was like, oh my God,
Devastated.
I was
She already
devastated.
raised the money, like she
I
already
was
did the
so
training
upset.
walks.
I break my foot, and I'm like, I'm gonna fucking do this walk. Theo Jaime pushed my
An
ass
unregistered participant.
in a wheelchair the whole walk.
Was he?
I mean,
He registered, he
I
registered.
also turn my wheels, you know, like I also like put,
Dude, her hands, she
Dude.
had gloves. Steph thought she was like
like a Paralympian or something.
Paralympian, like she had the gloves.
Oh hell yeah!
For her wheelchair. We have a picture of her like showing her hands how dirty her
I
hands.
know Theo Jaime. Can you imagine all of Long Beach on my hands? Theo Jaime fell trying to get my wheelchair up like this hill.
Well, because you guys try to beat the system and go up a hill.
Oh, poor guy.
Steph
So he
was, like,
pushed.
hobble, and he was like carrying
And
the
he
wheelchair
fell.
out, and he
So,
cut
yeah.
his leg. He cut his leg.
So anyway, that first year was a doozy, but it was fun. But yeah, those training walks, man.
I
They
mean,
were the
every
best.
ooh.
What? Tell me.
Tell us about your community building.
The what?
Once I say the story, Steph's gonna laugh so hard. To also build community building, one year we decided to do to go rock climbing.
Oh
And
yeah.
he picked me up at my place in
I was.
Compton.
Do you remember I picked you up in Compton? I was like, I feel weird.
Yeah.
I don't feel good. This was before me and Chris had kids, and I was like, we're halfway to the rock climbing place. I'm like, I think I'm still drunk.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I need to pull over. You need to drive. I don't know what. It was awful. That's when Lisa didn't pay attention to the directions. Our producer, I think the proper term is belay. She was my belayer. You know, the person who stands at the bottom and pulls your rope.
Okay. Yeah.
Why did I fall like a sack of potatoes from the top? And I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, I wasn't really paying. Lisa has this tendency to like zone out. When she's not interested, she's not interested. And you can tell. And she starts saying, wow, that's crazy. Oh, that's crazy. I'm like, okay.
We love Lisa, as you heard on our last episode. But yesterday, driving to bingo. Oh, sorry. Yesterday, driving to bingo, I was telling her a story about some drama or something. And I was like, oh yeah, well my trip to, I said, my trip to Virginia. And then Lisa was like, but wait, who's Virginia? I was like, bitch, the state.
The state of Virginia.
The state of Virginia, you know,
Oh,
like
yeah.
for the quinceañera thing. And she was like, I was like, you cut me off. Like, you were not paying attention to me, Lisa.
If she's not interested, she's not interested. And she wasn't interested when they were telling her how to hold my ass up. Because she let go of the rope and I fell and I hit the ground.
Damn.
I know.
Damn. I also had just got, remember this? I'm
What?
going to go there.
Tell
Sorry,
me.
everyone, if you don't want to hear this, turn off your podcast now. But be sure to come back for episode 6. I had a hickey on my neck, remember?
Oh. Well, he was your husband to be.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We were just dating at the time. But yeah, I had like a red mark on my neck.
Oh.
And Stephanie was like, bitch, cover that up. Like, so the whole time I'm climbing rocks, I'm like,
Was your neck to the side?
My shirt is up. Mind you, that was like my second year of teaching.
Oh my
It
God.
was a
Stop
weekend.
it.
It was a weekend.
Teacher stories. Have you ever had a teacher with a hickey? Let me know. Yeah.
Well-
what was I gonna say? What was another thing I was gonna tell you about that? Do you remember we did a training walk? Oh my God. Our Aunt Marty has a very sensitive gag reflex.
Oh,
If you go like in front of her,
Dude,
that's it.
she's
Like
listening, she's
she
gonna
might
gag.
gag right now. We went. Speaking of stinky asses, we went on a training walk. The only car I had at the time was my Malibu, my Sentra.
I think it was.
Oh, it was a 4-door sedan. It's
And
me,
then it was
Alma, my mom, Marty,
6 of
Marcia,
us.
Lisa,
Yeah.
in a 4-door sedan. Okay, so we have me driving, somebody in the passenger seat, 3 people, me, passenger, 3 in the back, 2 people on laps. Okay, mind you, we're only going a couple miles.
1 on the lap.
1 on the
3
lap.
in the back, driver and you, that's 5 plus 1 is 6.
Yes. Okay.
I
Yeah,
was
sorry,
on the
sorry, sorry.
lap.
Alma was.
And I get a
and
sweaty
her-
ass. Sorry, this
we
is
just
TMI,
talked
my
about this.
coworkers, my friends, like,
She has a sweaty ass.
I have a sweaty ass. I don't know.
She gets in the car. I didn't think it was a mixture of the sweat, the aroma. We're packed in there like sardines, driving back to my apartment, and
Yeah.
Aunt Marty gets like a whiff where she gets wet on her legs, and we're and she's like, mind you, I'm terrified of vomiting. We're packed in my car. I'm trying to focus. She's gagging in the back. Alma's laughing.
She was trying to like move me, like shift me off.
Where
other
we
people.
go?
Where am I gonna go? Like I'm
It
so
was
sorry.
hilarious. It reminds me of your Jersey story. Like the windows
Oh.
rolled down, smelled like sweat,
That
and
was
like,
disgusting.
oh my God. But they were like, I think they were like the best times of my life.
You what?
I think they were like the best times of my life. The
Oh.
training walk
The
was so
train,
fun.
like it brought us together. Like we would catch each
100%.
other up. Like it was, yeah. And we keep saying like, oh, we need to walk again, or oh, we need to do this again. Life is busy. Like we don't walk. We don't.
I know my mom wants to get us back together. Get the group, get the band back together.
Yeah, bands back together.
I know. So listen, I know that was like a shit show, but you know, we cannot concisely convey the importance of breast cancer awareness for us and why it's so personal.
Yeah.
But we'll share a lot of stories. If you have any questions, let us know. If you need help or resources, please let us know. Oh, the other thing is, if you're ever at Keck Medical Center
Oh, yeah.
in Lincoln Heights?
Yeah.
Is it Lincoln Heights? I don't know. My grandma has a brick. We'll see if we can post a picture of it. All the grandkids chipped in to get her a brick that's there for her, a legacy brick, because she went to Keck. Shout out to the doctors at Keck. They were so amazing.
They were so amazing. Everyone
They were
was
so good to her. Yes.
Huntington Hospital was amazing.
Mm-hmm. They were so good to her. But breast cancer is very personal, like we said, because as women, you know, it's a big connection to our bodies. It's very personal because it's, you know, I don't know how to explain it. It's not like, I don't know. I don't know how to, it's hard to talk about your breasts. I don't know. It's hard to say like, it's not like cancer of
Because we're so modest and we get that from our grandma.
I know. We never want to talk about that. We're always appropriate. Where is it? Very demure, very cutesy.
Very mindful.
Yes, sorry, Christy. But yes, it's very personal to us. So a couple things. If you have a breast cancer walk in your area, we encourage you to participate. You can join Alma October 19th. Tomorrow, it might be too late, but we'll put out like a little message about this.
Yeah.
Also and a link if you want to sign up. I might be there walker stalking.
It's at the Citadel, it's 3 miles. It's
Yeah, that's
5K.
fun. And you
There's
could go shopping after.
Yeah.
And then we'll share some information on our social media about links, resources, things that you might need if you are struggling, even if you just want to talk. Like if you have a family member going through it or you're going through it. Honestly, I tell people this all the time because I am a breastfeeding enthusiast, nursing. Call me anytime. Like you text me, you
I
call me.
always tell
Alma's-
my friends who have kids, I'm like, oh, if you need someone, like, I got my cousin. who's
I'm there.
Very into it.
But not just about the breastfeeding or the nursing. Me and Alma we're here. Like whatever you need, we're here to help. And then let's see. I don't know. I know it kind of went off.
We went off topic. We went off the rail for this one for sure. Coffee was just kicking in.
It's all good.
Episode 7 will probably be a little bit better. 6?
If you listen to the whole thing, we appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for being here. That kind of, I think, brings us to the end of this episode. Don't forget to follow, like, subscribe to La Vida Entre Primas, Life Between Cousins, so you never miss an episode. We'll be back next week with our next episode.
Oops.
You are going to find out what that is because we're learning and we're going through, like we said, so we're switching things up.
Yeah.
So follow along, find out on our Instagram page, follow our Instagram, and find out what our next week's episode is. Look for the little snippets.
Yes, it's going to be October, so if you have a scary story, send it to us. Or a scary picture, so we could post some stuff. Maybe we'll do a bonus episode for scary stuff.
I think we need a bonus episode with scary stuff only because we'll talk about it off the thing.
Yeah.
But until then, take care of yourselves. Get your mammograms. Wait, hold on, I messed that up.
Get your titty squashed.
Get
I never had one. Did you have one?
Yes.
You had one?
Yes. How have you never had one?
I don't know. How did you get one?
I'm 40 years old and they said you need a mammogram.
I have Kaiser. You know they don't.
I have
fucking care.
Kaiser.
What? Oh,
I went-
mammogram.
It was not fun. I went last year and I was so scared. It all came back negative, but I don't have
Thank
anything.
God.
There wasn't any abnormalities. But yes, it was not fun.
I don't squash it like a pancake, huh?
Yeah.
Does it hurt?
Yeah.
So my TMI, I've always had the doctors tell me like, oh, you have very like dense breasts. So I'm afraid it's gonna hurt really bad. Like I always thought I had breast, but it's just like
Dude.
a lot of like lumpies, like
Like,
not
you
lumps.
can't see
That's
it.
so
We're
gross.
Literally like,
like a heavy- it's like
squishing
a-
our breast right now.
They're not.
Our own. She's not touching my breast. Okay. I gotta end this
Listen.
episode.
All right, guys. Thank you for
Until
being
then,
here.
Take care of yourselves and each other. Thanks for listening. We'll see you in the next episode of La Vida Entre Primas. Life Between Cousins.
Cousins.
Oh,
Sorry.
God.